The man named Joe was building a miniature Titanic. His neighbor, Don, saw it and angrily rushed over. He immediately ordered Joe to stop. Don thought Joe had crossed the line. He told Joe to stay away from his yard. Joe believed he hadn't crossed any boundaries. He thought Don was being too petty. Don, still furious, charged at him again. Joe had no choice but to explain. He said the Bon Voyage 5's playset was for the kids. He even offered to let Don's grandson play too, but Don said his grandson was already in college. Just as he finished speaking, something seemed to fall from above. Joe shouted for him to run. Don turned too quickly and hit a wooden beam. The next moment, a military Humvee crashed down. The mini Titanic was smashed to pieces on the spot. The fire department was alerted and quickly arrived. Don was trapped underneath, badly injured, but ironically the Titanic had saved his life. His lights were pinned down and the firefighters explained to Don it was a military training airdrop gone wrong. Help would arrive soon to remove the vehicle, but they couldn't wait any longer. Don had severe fractures. He was losing too much blood. They had to get him out immediately for treatment. The captain decided to use airbags to lift the base. Buck said for this angle it's going to be hard to do full contact. Then Eddie suggested we can get him out the way he came in. They brought in the fire truck, raised the ladder, then tied the parachute to a rope and attached it to the winch. Once everything was set, the machine was activated. The Humvee was slowly lifted. Seizing the moment, they quickly cooked Don out. They placed him on a journey and rushed him to treatment. Don thanked his neighbor Joe, saying the mini Titanic had saved his life. Joe told him not to worry and promised to build another one. Firefighters arrived at a bowling alley and an employee explained that a man named Jerry had been working on maintenance. He had gotten stuck in the pin setter. All they could see hanging down was Jerry's bloody arm. Cruz and Cap headed to the back to start taking apart the machine, while Telly laid down under the pin setter to talk to Jerry. He asked Jerry how he had gotten in there. Jerry said the pin setter arm was jammed and stuck good. Paramedic Nils told them to hurry because Jerry was going into shock and didn't have a pulse in his arm. Kelly started cutting the shaft that was trapping Jerry, but Jerry screamed in pain. Eventually, Kelly cut Jerry free and they pulled him out of the pin setter and rushed him away in the ambulance. While they were picking up their stuff, Otis slipped on the waxed fuel and they couldn't get up.
What's this guy, never gone bowling before?
The new fire chief laughed hysterically at him. They made fun of him, which didn't go over well with the other firefighters. The high-voltage power line suddenly snapped. It fell to the ground and started whipping around wildly. Seeing this, the firefighter grabbed a poker to try and pin it down.
Hey, wait!
Just moments ago, a truck had lost control and crashed into the utility pole. The broken power line was flailing on top of the truck. The injured driver had fallen into unconsciousness. The firefighters immediately sprang into action. Their first priority was to secure the whipping power line. Two firefighters wrapped a rope around the cable. Then they secured it to a fence by the roadside. Once safety was ensured, Kelly was working to pry the door open when a transformer caught fire and exploded. Countless fireballs rained down on them. The firefighters quickly grabbed extinguishers and started putting out the flames. Just then, one of the overhead power lines suddenly came loose. It fell right beside firefighter Sarah. She panicked slightly. She called for help, but no one could hear her. She tried to use a poker to secure the line, but his mouth shouted for her to wait. The power line jumped and struck her in the chest. Mouch screamed that they had a man down and rushed to help her. Then they managed to control the whipping power line. After being examined by the paramedic, Sarah's pupils were equal, but she was concussed. Firefighting is truly a dangerous profession. The man had a strange habit. He liked to spy on his neighbors with a telescope from home. Among them, some were dancing, some were working out, and some were painting, but it was this very habit that led Michael to save a life. That day, as usual, he was spying through his telescope. He noticed a man living alone who seemed suspicious. Not only did women visit him every day, but he also threw out a large amount of trash always at night. This made Michael feel uneasy, so he shared his discovery with Sergeant Grant, his ex-wife. However, Athena thought he was meddling too much. Even though she mocked him, his gut told him something was definitely wrong with that neighbor. Sure enough, that night, he saw the man washing his hands, which were covered in blood. Realizing something was off, he quickly called his two friends and told them what he saw. Just then, another woman arrived at the man's house. But this time, something was different. They seemed to be arguing. The woman had bandages wrapped around her body. Most importantly, the man had even more trash to throw out that night. This raised suspicions for the firefighter captain as well. Michael sighed, saying it would be great if they could see inside those trash bags.
Could always look in the dumpster. Great idea.
So they decided to split up. Michael stayed home to keep an eye on the man. Bobby and David went to search through the trash. Excited, the two rushed to the dumpster. The moment they lifted the lid, a foul stench hit them, but that didn't stop Bobby's curiosity. Determined to uncover the truth, he jumped into the garbage bin and started digging. Meanwhile, Michael sensed something was wrong. The man was about to take out the trash. Michael quickly called Bobby, but Bobby, too nervous, accidentally dropped his phone into the garbage pile. Getting no answer, Michael immediately dialed David's number, but David's phone started ringing inside the house. He had forgotten to bring it. moment. Just then Bobby found his phone. David also found the man's garbage bag. Inside they discovered bloody bandages and surgical tools. Right then Michael called again, warning them that the man was coming down. Grabbing the garbage bag, they quickly ran away. Although they escaped in time, the man still sensed something was wrong. When he saw the scattered trash on the ground, he immediately realized someone had been snooping. Meanwhile, Bobby and David returned home, only to find that Michael was missing. Using the telescope, they finally spotted him inside the man's house. Michael had just entered when he noticed a row of surgical tools on the sink. In another room, he found a woman lying unconscious on an operating table. Her waist was bleeding on both sides. Just as Michael stepped forward to check on her, the woman suddenly woke up. With a weak voice, she pleaded for help. Michael quickly pulled out his phone to call 911, but before he could finish his sentence, someone knocked him out. When he regained consciousness, the woman on the table was gone. Panicked, he immediately informed Athena. He insisted that the woman was too badly injured to have left. Athena checked the surveillance footage but found no trace of the woman outside. This meant she was probably still inside the building. Athena immediately mobilized a large number of officers to conduct a door-to-door search. Finally, in a room with no response, they found the critically injured woman. Fortunately, she still had a pulse, but she had lost too much blood and was in grave danger. They quickly stopped the bleeding, then rushed her to the hospital on a stretcher. As for the man who tried to escape, he was eventually caught. It turned out he was once a doctor, but due to multiple medical accidents, his license had been revoked. So he set up an underground clinic here. At first, he only performed cosmetic procedures like Botox, but over time, he set his sights on his patient's kidneys. In the end, due to his poor skills, he nearly caused a patient's death. The man just bought a long Valentine's Day gift. Unexpectedly, his drofman grabbed a cleaver. In an instant, the man was dismembered. Then the woman glued him back together. Just after enjoying a lavish dinner, the woman excitedly unwrapped the Valentine's Day gift, only to find a box of chocolates. She actually desired a diamond ring, but not Louis diamond-shaped chocolates. And for this special day, the woman had meticulously dressed up all day, even prepared a table full of dishes. But the man's indifferent expression completely virulent her. At this moment, the man stood up to leave. Seeing this, the woman hurriedly tried to stop him.
You want me to do this the hard way? Fine. You're not my only girlfriend. Okay, I can't watch a movie with you because I've got plans with another girl later tonight.
However, the man did not realize that he had provoked a woman he shouldn't have. Soon the neighbor called 911, complaining of excessive noise. Athena approached to investigate, finding the woman with a vacant stare and a nervous expression. Following protocol, Athena had to inspect the house. The woman explained that she had a fight with her boyfriend, and he had stormed out after slamming the door. Hearing that the woman had just been dumped, Athena couldn't help but sympathize, saying that such a man didn't deserve love, and she handed over her name card, offering help if needed. After saying this, Athena left the woman's house. As soon as the woman put down the card, she picked up a cleaver. In a despairing gaze of her boyfriend, she killed her. However, just 2 hours later, the woman voluntarily called Athena, claiming it was to express gratitude. She finally had a change of heart thanks to Athena's comforting words. As she stood up to pour wine, she accidentally spilled it on Athena. While Athena cleaned herself, she accidentally opened a cabinet, discovering an abundance of psychiatric drugs, and in the corner there were faint traces of blood. Feeling uneasy, Athena immediately pulled out her gun, started searching the other rooms, but when she opened the door, she was shocked by the scene in front of her. Just then, the woman appeared silently, holding a gun to Athena's back. After that, Athena's hands were bound with duct tape.
You're a really good person, Athena. You honored your vows. You were so nice to me. That's why I had you come back here tonight, because your heart is so wonderful and pure.
She believed that if she transplanted Athena's heart into her boyfriend, he would come back to life and be devoted to her. But Athena wasn't one to surrender easily. During their conversation, she quietly freed herself from the tape, and in the next moment, the woman was swiftly taken away in a police car.